So I don't know if I explained, but a brookie is a combination of a brownie and a cookie. So recently, my cousin decided she and her son wanted to make brookies for his birthday and asked me for a recipe. So I sent it along and then realized I've never made a video on how to make brookies. So welcome to today. So I have a cup of butter that I have melted. I have 2/3 of a cup of cocoa powder. We're going to stir in. Preheated the oven to 350 degrees. This is double the recipe because we like these in my house. If you only want to do half of the recipe, you need a 9x13 pan. Otherwise, my nice half sheet pan works beautifully. All right. I'm going to stir in a cup of sugar and a cup of brown sugar and a teaspoon of salt. There we go. Now I have 4 eggs that I have lightly beaten. Really, I just stirred them with a fork until I broke the eggs up. I'm going to pour those in. Along with 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now, I often get the comment when I bake stuff that there's a hint of cinnamon in what I cook. There is. I don't put cinnamon in there, but I use Mexican vanilla, and all Mexican vanilla has a hint of cinnamon in it. Now I'm going to add my cup of flour. We're almost done with the brownie part of the brookie. So I don't know if I explained, but a brookie is a combination of a brownie and a cookie. A spatula. Because the last thing we're going to add to our fabulous brownies is a cup and a half of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now I have my half sheet pan, which I have generously greased with pan grease. If you don't know what that is, there's a video on it. And it makes everything not stick to the bottom of your pan. I'm going to take my brownie mixture and we're just going to spread it over the bottom. So once we have this in an even layer over the bottom, we're going to make our cookie dough. So we finished our brownie part of our brookies. Blah, blah, blah. Now we need the cookie part of the brookie. So I have a cup of butter, unsalted, softened to room temperature. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. And we're going to cream those for about 2 to 3 minutes. So we've creamed the butter and sugar until they're light and fluffy, about 2 minutes. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 2 eggs, lightly beaten. And we're going to mix those, cream those together on high for about 2 minutes. Now our eggs are nice and fluffy. Now we're going to add our flour, 2 2/3 cups of whole flour, or all-purpose flour, I'm sorry. A teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And you just want to mix the flour and other dry ingredients until they're just combined. You don't want to make it too, you want to release all the gluten. Then you have chewy cookies. So now we add the chocolate chips. I have 2 cups, well, I have a generous 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips because I really like chocolate chips in my cookies. 2 cups. And now I'm going to take my cookie scoop that I would normally use for cookies themselves. And I'm just going to drop spoonfuls of chocolate chip cookie dough on top of our brookies so that when they bake, the cookie dough is going to somewhat sink to the bottom. The brownie is going to come to the top, and you'll have a combination in every bite of cookie and brownie. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to just grab a regular spoon and do it, you can. You don't need to be fancy and use a scoop like I do. It just makes my life easier. Now I'm going to bake this covered for 20 minutes. Then we're going to come back and uncover it and bake it for another 20 minutes at 350 degrees. There we go. 20 minutes at 350 degrees, and then we'll be back. So our brookies have been baking in the oven covered 20 minutes. Now we're going to take the cover off and bake them for another 20 minutes, and then we'll be back. So our brookies at 20 minutes uncovered were still jiggly, so we put them back in the oven for another 9 minutes. And here we are. They are perfectly cooked, no jiggling anywhere. These need to cool in the pan for about 20 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. So our brookies have had a chance to cool, and I cut a tiny piece. Well, my husband cut me a tiny piece. And here we go. It's the perfect blend of brownie and cookie. These are amazing.